I want you to talk a little bit about one of the things that you did during the pandemic in having to do with royalties.
Oh yeah, so we did do deferrals for sure. We met with our franchise. I mean, it was chaos, and it was chaos too because we were in, I forget the number actually. So I think it's like six different provinces, and then six other states. Like it was I think it was a grand total of 13 different jurisdictions. And it went from being in Ontario, where 70% of our locations were located, where the actual number of closed days was 380 something over that 2 year time
Oh
frame.
my goodness.
It was, I don't understand why Ontario became like the world leader in the tightest restrictions during this time frame, but we did.
Hmm.
And so that was really difficult. So we had locations that were just completely closed. Or we in Ontario, we actually went through four, I think it was four different rounds of opening and closures. So we'd be allowed to be open for like 3 weeks with certain restrictions, and then it was closed again. And then it was reopened, but with these restrictions, and then closed again. So it was very, it took a toll on everybody to be like, okay, we're ready, we're open. Here's the new restrictions. Everybody learn the protocols. Everybody learn what you've got to do. Order these new supplies. Do this stuff. So we had that on one extreme end, and then on the other extreme end, we had our location, one of the locations in the States that opened in May. So it was March, everybody closed into March, closed for April, back open in May of
Yeah.
2020. So they were only shut down for like, they actually did the whole let's flatten the curve 6 weeks and we're done. And they reopened. So from a head office perspective, it was tricky too, because we had to furlough our staff because we would have
Hmm.
been bankrupt if we just kept everybody on at full
Right.
payroll
Right.
during the time when zero revenue was coming in. So we were down to skeleton staff, and fortunately, a lot of our staff ended up coming back on, working a couple of hours here and there, working half hours, taking, we ended up giving a lot of vacation time on the back end, taking pay cuts. It was wild, and so grateful for everyone because we ended up getting through it. Um, so to have a location open but having to have all of these restrictions put in place, so it
Mm.
was it was new protocols, it was new supplies. It was at a time when getting supplies was tricky as well because if you recall, it was like nobody wear a mask, masks are bad, they do nothing, to like everyone
Yep.
needs to wear
Yep. Yep.
masks, like gloves don't do anything, and we were like giving away our gloves because we used gloves prior to the pandemic. Then it was like, let's give away all of our masks, like people need these supplies. Then, oh God, wait, just kidding, we need our gloves in order to be able to reopen. And just getting all that stuff done with our staff being very light. And then the gamut of the next 2 years with all the different 13 different places saying they could do different things,
Yeah.
opening different
Right.
times. And then it was marketing that got affected because if you're, now we're reopen again, now we're not, now we're reopen, it's all that stuff, all the communications out to the guests. Getting people even to feel comfortable coming back in bar was tricky, and for our staff to feel comfortable coming back in, like they were on the, they were going to work in a time frame when people were afraid to still leave their houses. And so for
Mm.
them to know that what they're doing was a value, that people wanted their services, that they wanted that human connection, like human touch to take place, and to be able to give that to our guests during that scary time frame. It's so commendable what our franchise partners did, what my HQ team did, and of course what our staff did.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.